What are you up to, SFO? What are you covering
that's
next?
the end of it. What am I covering next? I played a bunch of Suicide Squad. Then I had my girlfriend capture a bunch of footage for me because I hated that game.
Nice. Okay, actually, I wanted to talk to you about something real quick.
Okay, what's up?
There's like this Grums guy on Twitter, and like this is like a whole like culture war type thing going on. What is like the TLDR on this? Because I've like looked into it a little bit, but it seems to be like a lot of stuff. Like he said someone doxed him, and there's like all these people coming after him, and there's like Kotaku articles or something. What is like the TLDR on whatever he believes and thinks should happen with the game industry, and why are people mad at him? And should I be mad at him?
He's in about 5 different dramas. Which one do you want?
What's the most important one to you? What's the most captivating?
I mean, personally, it's the Stellar Blade because he ran that
he ran the Steam group, right?
No, the change.org thing. It was like some sort of a petition to get Stellar Blade changed, and he thinks he changed everything. I don't think he did. But that's a rabbit hole. The doxing thing. You know who Nick Caldera is?
No.
Okay. You know Yahtzee, the Escapist?
I know what the Escapist is. Yeah.
Yeah. So you know Zero Punctuation.
Sure.
Okay. So basically, there was that drama last year where whatever parent company that bought The Escapist wanted them to, it was basically cracking the whip and saying, make more videos, do better, make shows blow up faster, like, because they had these corporate overlords. And they started firing people for not meeting certain quotas.
Mm-hmm.
And so everyone at The Escapist turned around and just walked out, including Yahtzee, who was the big draw. He was the Zero Punctuation guy. They turned around, they formed their own company called Second Wind, and Nick Caldera was the former editor at The Escapist, and he became the owner of Second Wind. And so they go off and they do their own thing under new branding. And so that guy, the guy who runs Second Wind, got into it with Grums, and they're both accusing each other of doxing. I don't know the full truth on that, but they're both accusing each other of doxing.
Mm-hmm.
And when Grums went on Side Scrollers like a week or two ago and dropped a bunch of accusations, I was talking to Nick about it because I know both of them. So I was talking to Nick and I was like, what's going on here, guys? And Nick just said, I'm recording the entire stream. I can't talk to you about it because I'm getting my lawyers involved. So there's going to be some lawsuit coming up.
Gotcha. I'm like the whole Stellar Blade thing. I looked into that, and am I wrong to think that the entire thing is just kind of like I don't like you're mad about like 2 inches of cleavage?
Yeah, it's stupid. Man, everything on the right wing right now is like a culture war, and I'm just very tired of it.
Yeah, well, especially like it's for video
movie,
games. Like I understand to an extent, like there definitely is cringe going on with some game developers because they're all, they're woke for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
But like some of the specific issues I see being highlighted is like it's just such a non-issue to me. Like I understand like being upset that like you were promised something, but what you were promised was like an extra inch of chest. Like I just don't know.
Yeah.
It's just I feel like there are bigger battles to fight. But
so right now is. I mean, there is the deep politics conversation that's at the bottom of all this to really explain it.
It's like Sweet Baby Ink.
Deeper than that. What's basically happening is you have a bunch of very far left people who now occupy various positions all across all these various entertainment industries, and they do have a certain political view that they want to push forward using these various franchises. And that sucks because they tend to make low quality entertainment when they do this. And it preaches at you, and no one likes it, and the games are garbage, and the movies are garbage, and no one likes this stuff. But as a backlash to it, now you have these rightoids who are on stream every day talking about how they're jumping at their own shadow now, right? They're seeing everything everywhere. Everything's a culture war. Everything is the left out to get them. Everything is the fault of some rainbow-haired SJW. And at some point, it just kind of becomes ridiculous because they have one answer to explain every single event.
Mm-hmm.
And the answer, the obviously the truth somewhere in the middle at some point.
Right.
With Stellar Blade, so there's 2 interpretations of that. So here, the TLDR Stellar Blade, in terms of what actually happened, is if you buy the game on disc on PS5 and you unplug your PS5 from the internet, you have version 1.0 on the disc, and it has certain outfits in the game because the girl's really hot, and so you can they're very titillating outfits. But then if you update the game, if you connect to the internet, it'll change the outfits and make them a little bit less sexual.
Mm-hmm.
They change a few things. And people are mad about that. They're saying this is censorship. And, fair enough, because Sony has a reputation of censoring sexual content out of their video games, and people don't like that. And so, and they tend to do it for those very lefty reasons, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
This is objectifying, this is, that sort of stuff, right? So, it's not like Sony hasn't done this before, so it's a reasonable assumption. The other argument, though, is that the actual developers of Stellar Blade, they came out in an interview and they said, no, listen, it was actually a glitch. There were supposed to be certain textures that were they're just invisible accidentally. And so when the update for 1.2 is actually how we always intended the game to be. And those are the two arguments. It's like, are they lying to us? And are they actually taking away our boobs? Or was it just a mistake? And so that was the big argument between these two sides. And you had left-wingers calling everyone incels and, they're way too horny and this is objectifying. Then you had right-wingers saying, like, you can already picture the argument in your head. And it was kind of an autistic argument because it went on for like a month. And Grums set up that petition to try and get Stellar Blade to change it back. And they got like 100,000 signatures or some shit. It was a ridiculous amount of signatures. However, I think it's actually neither of those things. Because I did the autistic deep dive of checking out version 1.0, 1.2, and 1.3 and documenting all the changes. I got footage of all of it. And I think what it actually is it was neither of those explanations. It was actually a copyright issue. Because there are some very, very sexual costumes in the game that were not touched. Not changed even once. All of the costumes that were changed were all like bonus fourth wall breaking costumes that were taken from Korean fashion companies, like lewd fashion companies. And they were put in there. And the only ones that were changed were like clothes that exist in real life. So I think they didn't have the license to those things. So they added stuff to it, right? And then, version 1.3 came out, and then, Grums and people around him all cheered victory because they actually added a couple of costumes that were even more titillating. So like, yeah, we got our boobs back. This is amazing. But then they spun it as if, Stellar Blade decensored the costumes. But I looked at those ones, and those ones were actually, they weren't even old versions of the copyrighted costumes. They were new costumes. They were completely new inventions. So like it's one of those conversations that just doesn't matter. But if you are going to dig into it, there is an objectively correct answer if you look at all the evidence. Is that no one cares to dig into it enough. They just want to be mad on Twitter. Which,
I mean, it tends to be basically every issue goes that way. One of the things that I found kind of silly was, okay, so Denims, she made this, she was like, I'm putting out a bounty for Asmongold and for Grums, right? You saw that? I thought that was like, it is crazy that Twitch is allowing that considering what other shit they ban, but I did not see that as a serious threat at all. Meanwhile, I saw a ton of people on Twitter saying like, at the FBI, this is a crime, this person's gonna go to jail. I thought that was like it's just a little, like this guy's life is not at risk, generally speaking. I thought that was kind of silly. What did you think?
Yeah, same. I mean, she shouldn't have said it. It's stupid.
She shouldn't have said it, and like, she probably would advocate for other people to be banned if they said that and they were on the right wing, which is why I don't really feel bad for her.
Yep.
But from the perspective of Grums, it's like I think he like added the FBI on Twitter. It was like, bro, you think that's how you like submit a tip? Like, really? There's no way.
He added the FBI and was crying on Twitter about,
I don't think they checked the Twitter, to be honest.
I mean, I understand like when you're a public figure, like being somewhat concerned that some crazy person might do something, right? Like I do understand that, even if they're joking. But by that same token, like with this specific thing, it just seems so unserious. And she said it in such a joking manner too. I don't know. I found it kind of silly.
Yeah, me too. I mean, like I've spoken to Grums a few times over the years, and he's always been a nice guy, but I don't agree with him on this issue. Yeah. I think what it is people have just recognized that there's a lot of social power to be gained by being a victim. And so even if someone threatens you non-seriously, if you can spin that into something, people are going to do it now. It doesn't matter what political side you're part of.
Yeah, I guess part of it also is the left was doing it for a long time, so now the right is just, we'll play ball. But I don't know how cognizant it is. Like, I don't know how conscious of a decision that is, or if it's just like kind of a natural thing that they're just doing with time. Yeah, I can't read his heart. I don't know enough about him for that, but yeah, I just see this giant Spurg war on Twitter that I find really interesting, but it's hard for me to get into because it's like at this point the lore is so deep with the Sweet Baby Ink stuff, and like there's no like one. I feel like there's no like one just like 40-minute video essay, Turkey Tom video summarizing it. Like it's all spread out over all this shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The issue is it probably can't be 40 minutes to actually explain it all. It's probably gonna be like 5 hours.
Yeah. That
because all the Sweet Baby Ink stuff is a direct continuation from the 2014 Gamergate stuff. It's all the same people, it's all the same companies, all the same players. Everything is a continuation from that.
Have you noticed this is like how cyclical internet culture is right now? Like I feel like we're seeing like a huge repeat of like 2014 right now, and I feel like in a couple of years we're gonna have like 2016 again. Like 2026 is gonna be like the iDubbbz years. It feels like a lot of people have been talking about this. I've been talking about it for a few years, but it seems like everybody's waking up to my prediction clearly because I'm the only one who got it. But no, it seems like everybody is. I feel like the BreadTube guy soared pretty high, and now it seems like, especially with like the Praise of Shadows guy, I'm sure you saw that went down. It seems like there's like it seems like a lot of the BreadTubers, like they got too comfortable, and now sort of at the lower levels they think they can be Age Bomber guy, and they're just not. And now it seems like there's going to be a bunch of backlash to that kind of thing, and it's probably going to negatively affect BreadTube and online leftism as a whole.
Well, I mean, BreadTube's already pretty much dead. I don't know who. You said Praise of Shadows? I don't know who that is. I don't know what that story is.
Oh, you don't know that? Okay.
Nope.
Long story short, there's this... Do you know who Wendigoon is?
Heard the name. Don't know who he is, though.
He's like a sorry, my God. He's like a horror history YouTuber. He does videos about like conspiracy theories, the assassination of MLK, stuff like that. He's a pretty popular guy. He's got like 3 million subs, but this guy in Praise of Shadows is like a lefty, and he made a video about conservative horror movies, and the last 40 minutes of it were basically dedicated to drawing connections between Wendigoon and other people as a means to call him a fascist and like a far right. So like one of them was like, he's friends with me and I say the N-word, therefore he is all right. He's friends with Donut Operator, who used to be a cop and is a fascist bootlicker, therefore he is far right. He used to be in meme group chats called the Boogaloo Boys, and the Boogaloo Boys, after he left, went on to, some people calling themselves Boogaloos, committed domestic terror in the United States, therefore he is a Boogaloo Boy, and he supports that. He wears Hawaiian shirts, therefore he's far right. Like it's kind of, it's like this like crazy schizo stuff, but it's stuff that you would see back like 10 years ago that like led to like H3H3 and Ray Gun and like all those guys blowing up, calling the left crazy, right?
No, yeah, and here's the thing, that's happened to me too, right? Like Vosh has made a couple of videos on me. I know a couple other BreadTube streamers have made videos on me, and it basically is just, you're friends with Sargon, therefore you're far right. Even though Sargon and I argue politics all the time, and I disagree with him a lot, but we can be friends. That's not a big deal. But just by virtue of us being friends, I mean, like we play games every week together, on stream. Like I'm a Nazi. It's insane, these people.
But I think the way they see it is because it's like a reflection of their worldview, because they only would talk to people who they agree with on basically every issue, right? And so it's like they project that onto others, and they're like, well, if you are a person online and you hang out with people who you may disagree with, or you hang out with people who they disagree with who may be conservative, therefore you are conservative, therefore you are fascist, right? It's like that. It's kind of this like building block logic that they have.
Yeah, that's one part of it. The other part of it is when they do talk to someone who does not agree with them, like if they're roped into a debate or something, basically the only argument they have is moral condemnation. It's just you're evil. Like, they don't actually address any issue or talk about the pros and cons of anything. They just say, you think this way, therefore you're evil. And that's going to be their entire argument. Like, I watched, it was a couple years ago now, but it was Destiny versus Corncob guy, Jake from Bible Reloaded or something? It was Destiny versus Jake. And that was like a 3-hour debate or some shit. And Jake was just like, you're evil. The whole, that's like, he said more words than that, but like, that's what it all boiled down to the whole time. Just, you're evil for 3 hours. Like, how is this a debate?
Right. Well, it's kind of the position that, like, I'm right, I have the right political position, therefore anything you say to me is dumb. There's this, like, position that some lefties have, and right-wingers have had it too, but right now the left, for the past few years, the left has been in power, which is why they have this kind of, there's this perception that they are particularly crazy. They're not. But there's this understanding, this impression that if you platform someone, if you even have a conversation with someone, therefore you're just as bad as them because you even entertain their ideas, right? Is that kind of thing, which I've always found to be very cringe. I feel like, I don't know, it's good to have ideas debated in public, if not for your own entertainment, just for the sake of like understanding where you're coming from. But it seems like further down the pipeline, some of these lower tier BreadTubers, they don't really know why they feel the way they feel. They don't really want to have to explain it. It's much easier to just put your arguments into a video essay where you don't have to have it dissected. You can kind of speak to an audience that already agrees with you, and that's basically the mentality that they've developed. But it's made them weak over time because their arguments don't hold up, and over time, little things like that do build to a point where, like with this Praise of Shadows video, I encourage you to check it out because it would probably make a good video for you. Sure, but it's like so mind-boggling how bad it is. But like the shit he says is stuff that a lot of leftists do believe in, do agree with, at least online in these communities.
I'll make sure to take a look. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
the
crazy.
thing is, like, there is value in doing video essays, I think, because like debates are great, obviously, but if you really want to get down to the core of a topic and you want to like watch a 5-hour video and really dissect, or like pull out a book and start talking about different bits of philosophy or something, if you want to get really deep down into something, sometimes you can't do that in debate because a lot of debates are just screaming, right? But you can do that in an essay. You can sit there and autistically go through every single thing and like really lay out an argument. Mm-hmm. So I mean, both forms have their place,
Yeah, for sure. But I think that it's a big marker when you're a video essayist and you can't defend your ideas, especially in politics. It doesn't bode well for them. It's like with the Noah Samson thing. I mean, he lost the debate to Vosh. I can't imagine the humiliation I would feel if I did that. I can't imagine.
It's different skill sets, right? Because like Vosh tends to be wrong on almost everything all the time, but he's very charismatic, and that can carry you through a debate, even if you're wrong.
Sure. Yeah, that's true. Okay. All right. Well, thanks for coming on. I'm probably gonna get off stream, but I appreciate it. Take it easy, bro.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on, man. I'll talk to you again sometime.
Take it easy. All right, I'll see you, Lotan, Smaggle, Sue. Thanks for coming on.
Yep, see you, dude.
I've been on for 8 hours, so I'm gonna get off. And Goon to Lotan's BBL. I will catch you all later. Thanks for coming out. Goodbye.